Welcome
to episode 153 of Doctor Who Time and Space, starring me, Liz Mean.
and me, D. Cool.
It's yet another week.
Another week.
Another,
We're here
our
again.
153rd podcast.
I know I say this every week pretty much, but I can't believe we've done that many.
I know.
But we have.
I know we
and we're
have.
still here. We're not bored of it yet. We're not bored of you yet.
No, we're not. Viewers.
We still
Loyal viewers.
We still enjoy your company.
Yeah.
So what have we got on this week's show?
We are going to look at all things The Master in our final of our first half of Monster Analogies.
Brilliant. I've been enjoying that series so far. We'll be giving a review of our thoughts on the David Tennant era Doctor Who episode, Girl in the Fireplace.
We have we have another round of quiz or question.
We will be pressing the magic randomizer.
And then we'll be looking at some more news, however little of it there is.
Yeah, there isn't much at the moment, is there really? I mean, each week we keep thinking that we're going to sooner or later get some great announcement about a companion. And
we will get some great announcement about a companion soon, but...
We've had a few April Fool's ones, I guess.
We have.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
did you enjoy your Easter, Deco?
I did, yeah. Yeah, but we had a good day. Should we talk about it now? Right here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. Because I mean, we spent Easter morning. We went up to the Greedy Goblin Con in Dorchester.
Yeah.
The first one. Yeah, and I mean it was a fairly small sort of.
It was. The biggest person there was Dave Prowse, Darth Vader in Star Wars.
Yeah, but I think, although it was quite small, it was quite a big thing for Dorchester, because Dorchester's only a little town. We don't normally get those sorts of things anywhere near us. Sort of Bournemouth's the nearest, which isn't that far away. But it was organised by a couple of local guys, and they did a really good job, didn't they? Really,
they did. I mean, it was really organised by one person. And I think soon we're going to get an announcement about when the next one is.
Yeah.
But I think they should have lowered the prices for a few of the things.
Yeah, maybe. Although, I mean, I guess I think you're probably right. Certainly in terms of some of the autographs were quite highly priced for people's standings, weren't they? In comparison to, say, the amounts. Yeah, I mean, you think about when we got Louise Jameson's autograph last year at the Bournemouth Comic Con, that was £10.
£10, yeah. And most classic companions are £10.
Yeah.
So.
But you would have paid sort of like £10 for all the policemen from Legopolis's, wouldn't you? And but which I'm sure is perfectly fine. I'm sure it's a pretty damn good autograph.
But I think more people would have bought the autographs if they lowered the prices.
Yeah, maybe.
It was entertaining.
Yeah. I think what was good, it was all for charity, wasn't it? So it was a good little event. And
they raised about 3,000, I think.
That's brilliant, isn't it? So that is really good. So we had a little bit of a walk around there, didn't we? So had a look at the people that were sort of signing autographs. We watched a little bit of Girl in the Fireplace, actually, didn't we, on the cinema screen?
Yeah. Sadly, we missed the beginning. Would we have watched all of it if we caught it?
Probably, yeah. We could have sort of.
Then we would have stayed longer.
Yeah, that's right.
But we ran out of things to do.
Yeah, but you got some good merchandise, didn't you? Good merch. Do you want to give a bit of a rundown of the merch you got?
I got the War Games DVD. I may be a criminal for not buying that. I have seen it before. Me and Deco watched it together about 2 years ago now, probably. Just before Series 8, I think it was. I always remember.
I think you're right, it was. I wouldn't have thought it was that long ago, but you're right.
Yeah. And The Ark, which I never seen before.
Have you watched that one yet or not? Have you started watching it yet?
I've started it.
Yeah? What's it like?
It's quite good.
Yeah.
It's about like this planet which is in the spaceship, basically.
So
it's got those monoids, the creatures with the one eye.
Oh, cool.
Do you know?
I can't think of them off the top of my head. You have to show me later on. The so it's a bit.
I can flash an image for you up now if you want.
So it's a little bit like the whole concept of Noah's Ark.
It is. That's why it's called the Ark. Yeah. They've got like them.
Oh, those. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure you'll have a picture of them in the show notes or something. Yeah, they're great.
Probably not.
No, you should do. In fact,
we'll do that if the Ark review happens.
Okay. What we should do is actually add those, what they're called, monoids. We should add those into the Who to Face data banks because they're great.
Have we not added them in?
Don't think. I can't remember them being in there, but maybe they will.
We have. No.
We probably could do with that actually, updating the Who to Face.
Because there are a load of monsters which I completely forgot.
Yeah.
There are probably some really obscure ones in there, and then there's some which we've completely forgot about, which aren't obscure.
Yeah. So I mean that was the Greedy Goblin Con. It was worth going to, wasn't it? Definitely.
It was, and nice to go to charity, and nice to see that the event was successful. And reading comments on it, it looks like it was very successful for those people who went.
Yeah. So well done to the organisers.
Yes. Well done, Greedy Goblin Con organisers. Not as good as the Showmasters event, but you kind of expect that. But good for Dorchester.
Yeah, indeed. Because it's a different size organisation, isn't it? What about what else have you been up to this week then?
Well, we both went to London on Tuesday. Another big event that we did.
Should we have a bit of a chat about that?
Yeah, we went to some of the. We didn't necessarily do too much in London. No, but
just walked about.
We saw a few Doctor Who sites for our Behind the Sofa London special, which we're going to do a little bit of a London tour.
Yeah. So and actually, it's funny, wasn't it? We found some of the places we were looking for. We didn't find others, did we? But main reason being that by the time, well, I mean, what we did when our trip took us from Waterloo we headed up towards Forbidden Planet, didn't we? Yeah. And you made a couple of purchases in there.
Yeah, I'll talk about them after we've.
Okay. Yeah. From Forbidden Planet, we went and bought a big box of Krispy Kremes. Oh, wow. Then we started heading toward. The intention was we were going to have a big curry in Brick Lane, and we didn't get around to that in the end. But what we did do whilst we were around that area is I showed Lewis a few of the old Jack the Ripper murder sites, which is quite interesting. And then we had our lunch and started. The intention was that we were going to go down to what's called St Catherine's Wharf and look at some of the sites from Resurrection of the Daleks. Yeah. And we found a handful of them, didn't we? And we did. There's also from the Tower Bridge, from the side of Tower Bridge on the Tower of London side, you look out over the buildings that they use in Dalek Invasion of Earth. That's quite cool. But the actual ones from Resurrection of the Daleks that we were looking for, it suddenly started raining really hard, didn't it? It did. So we had a little look around. We didn't really find too much, so we had to race it back to Waterloo Station. It was a horrible walk back. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? It was chucking it down. But we went past the Clink, which we didn't. I didn't actually realise they'd used that in Doctor Who until I was looking up afterwards, and it said that was used in Talons of Wang Chiang. As soon as I saw it, I could picture it. It's really funny. But we'll talk about that a bit more fully anyway on the Behind the Sofa special. But we've got a few pictures, haven't we, and a little bit of video footage and stuff. So.
Merchandise-wise, so I have got a lot of merchandise this week.
Yeah, haven't you?
3 more DVDs, or basically a box set.
Yeah.
I received the beginning box set. I bought the beginning box set with An Unearthly Child, The Daleks, and Edge of Destruction, the first 3 ever stories. And I thought a Who fan needs to own the first ever episode. And don't worry, the same. I have watched that before, and I probably watched it about 4 years ago now.
So you'd seen all 3 of those, hadn't you? All 3 of those stories?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. But it's good to own them. Yeah. And I may give them a rewatch some point.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll come up on the randomizer.
Hopefully.
We can watch them together, because I've seen obviously An Unearthly Child, or the first part of it. I don't think I've seen it all the way through.
Have I? Yeah. Oh, right. It was ages ago when I first watched it, I think.
Okay, well, what with me having a goldfish brain, I've obviously forgotten that. but I definitely haven't seen the Daleks other than clips, and I haven't seen the other one where it was Edge of Destruction.
Edge of Destruction.
Yeah. So that was a DVD purchase. That was from Forbidden Planet, wasn't it? What else did you?
Well, I brought the 9th Doctor pop vinyl. He looks cool.
Oh yeah.
I was looking for the Sarah Jane one, but I thought the 9th Doctor was in there, so I thought he was the best one out of the 3 that were in there.
Yeah.
There was also Rose Tyler and Captain Jack, but I thought the 9th Doctor was a bit more interesting. So I'll order Sarah Jane online. Plus, I got my Tales from the TARDIS finally after a big long search for.
Yeah, you struggled to find that down here, haven't you?
I have. It's a big struggle.
Well, we live out in the sticks. We do. We're in Dartford.
Yeah.
So you don't always get everything down here. But
no.
Thankfully, when you're in Forbidden Planet, you've got pretty much everything geek related at your fingertips, haven't you? So
yeah, Forbidden Planet London's great, but
yeah, you could probably live in there, couldn't you?
I could, yeah.
So I mean, that was pretty much our London trip. Wasn't it? It was a really tiring day, wasn't it? We walked so far because we didn't use the tubes at all. So our trip took us basically all the way from Waterloo into that sort of West End area, right down through into Whitechapel, and then back through following the Thames back to Waterloo. So I don't know how many miles that is, but it was a fair old way. But we had a good laugh, didn't we? We had a good time.
We did. It was a fun 2 times.
Yeah.
What else have you been doing this week? Anything exciting?
I'm trying to think. I've done a lot of non-geeky related things. I've done a few music things. Obviously, did me Bowie tribute on Easter Sunday.
Hopefully, maybe some of the viewers might have gone to that.
You never know. Yeah. So I mean, that was
Deacle himself was performing.
Yeah. So that was another charity. Well, I was just guest vocaling on a few things. And the main band were playing last night. So that's that. Aside from that, probably not. I've not even really watched that much this week.
You've watched Walking Dead.
I watched The Walking Dead. I haven't got caught up with vinyl yet.
Have you watched Game of Thrones?
I haven't watched any more of my second watches of Game of Thrones this week. I did watch a few
How far through series 3 are you?
I'm about 5 or 6 through, I think. Yeah. I've been watching Red Dwarf, because you've been watching Red Dwarf, haven't you?
I've been watching a few Red Dwarfs as well.
And so I've been rewatching them again so that I can chat to you.
I've got to series 2, episode 1 on that.
Yeah. So that's quality stuff.
And I have been watching The Ark.
Yeah.
On Doctor Who.
And of course, the other thing that we watched during the week was the Spoons of Marinus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did you want to talk a bit about that?
Yeah, you can catch up on. Should we say that it is a?
Yeah, it's because the time's gone.
And we released it yesterday. A bit of an April Fool's joke.
Yeah.
Our review of rarely viewed episode.
I never viewed episode because it doesn't
exist. Spoons of Marinus. So that's quite an entertaining watch.
Yeah. So catch up with that on Lou's YouTube channel.
Also exciting. The finale of the Figure Adventures Series 5 is tonight. So make sure you tune into that after just over 1 month, about 1 year and 4 months worth. So
a lot of hard work, isn't it? The final episode is rendering as we.
So hopefully that will be released tonight.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah,
good stuff. Is that enough of our?
It is enough.
Yes, we
have waffled enough.
So we're going to take to the next section, which is when we start looking at a little bit of what little news we've had.
Unless there's a bit of news which has been just revealed, which I don't know. Which I don't think so.
Yeah.
No.
Because it is very light at the moment, isn't it? So what have we got news-wise?
So good news for Who. Michelle Gomez has been nominated for a BAFTA. The nominations for the 2016 BAFTA Television Awards have now been announced, and actress Michelle Gomez has been nominated in the Supporting Actress category for her role in Doctor Who. The actresses up for the category are Eleanor Worthington Cox from The Enfield Haunting, Channel Cresswell for This Is England 90, Leslie Manville from River, and Michelle Gomez, obviously, from Doctor Who. Good news, then.
Yeah, well done. Well done, Michelle. The surprising thing of that is the fact that there's nothing for Capaldi. How can How can that be?
I mean, Peter Capaldi, how much did he do in series? He was great in series 9. And also series 8.
Yeah.
But I like Michelle Gomez. She's great as Missy, but I think Peter Capaldi deserves it more.
Yeah, and also actually, although I do really like Michelle Gomez and I think she's spectacular, I would probably still have put some of Gemma Coleman's performances first, because I would still see her as being a supporting actress.
Yeah,
I would see her in this category, but there we go. That's not putting down Michelle by any means, because I think she was fantastic in it.
She was. So the BAFTA Awards take place on Sunday, 8th of May. So hopefully Michelle will win, because I don't know who any of those other people are. I only know the only show out of those other 3 that I know about is The Enfield Haunting.
Yeah. That was really good.
Do you know who the woman is?
I can't think who that was now, but because I'm not very good on actors and actresses. But The Enfield Haunting was a really good sort of series. They made it, the whole feel of it was like sort of the 70s and things. It was really good.
So Doctor Who's return to television garnered it both the Drama Series Award and Pioneer Audience Award in 2006, with its lead writer Russell T Davies also receiving the Dennis Potter Award. One of the key forces behind the show's most successful return, Jane Tranter, received the Alan Clark Award in 2009. In more recent times, current lead writer Stephen Moffat received the Special Award in 2012, and the 50th anniversary special Day of the Doctor won the Radio Times Audience Award in 2014. Current Doctor Peter Capaldi has also been a recipient, winning the award for male performance in a comedy programme for his role as Malcolm Tucker in The Thick of It.
Brilliant. Capaldi definitely deserves something, because I mean he was phenomenal in this series.
Yeah, I know. Also, Doctor has been nominated in the BAFTA Craft Awards, with effects nominated for Milk v FX, Millennium FX, Real SFX, Molyneux Up for special visual and graphic effects, a category the show has been nominated for every year since 2007, and receiving in 2009, 2014 and last year.
Brilliant. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, good bit of news. Good luck, Michelle. We hope you
good luck. Yeah. So
good luck.
Good luck.
Do we have other news at all, or is that the sole item?
That is the sole item, but there have been more news.
Oh, okay.
It's the main item, but that's why we put it first.
Mm-hmm.
So, other news this week. Greg Austin. This isn't on the news site. Okay. Greg Austin is rumoured to be in class playing Charlie. It says it on the Radio Times website. So okay. Greg Austin is the star of Mr. Selfridge, and on the CV it reveals that it says plays Charlie, series regular in Class. I don't know who this guy is. But,
do we know when Class is coming out yet?
I think it's in the autumn.
Okay.
But you know.
Okay.
But that's some interesting news.
Yeah.
So deaths this week.
Yes.
So
Alas.
Which one should we start with?
Let's start with this top one here.
Okay. So the actor Reg Whitehead has died aged 83. He was best known for Doctor Who, having played the first Cyberman to ever be seen on screen during their invasion of the Antarctic base in the 10th Planet. He went on to inhabit the insides of Cybermen for their successive stories at the Moon Base and Tomb of the Cybermen, known as a Yeti in their debut story, The Abominable Snowmen. Outside of Doctor Who, he appeared in a number of television shows during the 1960s and early 1970s, including Z-Cars, The Power Game, The Avengers, The Saint, and Counter-Strike. In later life, he was an enthusiastic racehorse owner and often involved in projects at his local stables in Newbury. Okay.
Well, sorry about that. Goodbye,
yes. And also the actor comedian Ronnie Corbett died the other day, aged 85. So he's most successful for his successful partnership in the two Ronnies running between 1971 and 1987, plus specials, and the show that made him a household name. His other major television role was as Timothy Lumsden in Sorry, which ran from 1981 to 1988. In later years, he appeared in films such as Fierce Creatures and Burke and Hare, and on television in shows like The Ronnie Corbett Show, game show Small Talk, and Ronnie's Animal Crackers, and also made appearances himself in both Extras and Little Britain.
I can't remember him in Burke and Hare. I like Burke and Hare. It's a good film.
Did you?
Yeah.
Though not directly related to Doctor Who, he inherits the TARDIS from a doctor of sorts, played by Ronnie Barker in their 1983 Christmas special sketch, The Adventures of Archie. He was later to appear in the Sarah Jane Adventures universe, playing an ambassador that later turned out to be a Slitheen in a 2009 comic relief segment from Raxacolocaphalopatorius with Love. He is married to actress and dancer Anne Hart with two daughters who also act, Emma and Sophie.
Have you seen that comic relief segment? Did you watch that?
No, I've never watched that.
Did you know it existed?
I did.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, it was sad news, that.
Yes.
Ronnie Corbett. It's one of these odd ones is that when I was growing up, I always really hated these Ronnie Corbett sketches. But as I've got a bit older, I've got to appreciate it a little bit more. And yeah, it's sad loss, that. And again, from what I've seen of him, he seemed a really lovely bloke. So
I think that's it for this week.
That's it with the news, crumbs.
Not much this week.
Ahead of schedule with our news this week, isn't we?
But that's why we had the big discussion at the beginning to fill time.
Pad things out.
Because, it's quite short. There was no news until about Thursday.
Yeah.
So,
when do you think we're going to get this companion news then?
Hopefully soon.
Hopefully so, yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to place my bets on about next week, hopefully. Please.
Just think how, when people were doing podcasts and things during the wilderness years, I mean, how difficult it must have actually been doing a news section.
Were there any podcasts that gave that day?
When did New Who start again?
2005.
2005. So there might have been, because the internet was around by then. So yeah, there might have been. I mean, podcasts have really sort of come to prominence since then, probably. But
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if that's that.
Yeah, that's the end of our news.
That brings us on to our first major section of the show.
Yes. Which is our monster analogy series, looking at the Master.
Looking at the Master. Okay. Do you want to just do a quick recap of what the monster analogy series is?
So we are looking at everything to do with that monster. So we've done Daleks and the Cybermen. We have a discussion about what we think of them, and we ask a few general questions like favourite incarnation, favourite episode, lots of things.
Yeah.
And we talk about whether they have grown boring or whether they've been successful all through time.
Okay. So the Master's probably, in many respects, the most interesting out of all of them, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
of the fact that, like the Doctor, he's a Time Lord, or she, whichever way you look at it.
Master Missy.
Therefore, you immediately, with each regeneration, get a different take on the character.
Yeah. So we have had a lot of incarnations of the Master.
So when did we first see the Master? When did the Master first come onto our screens?
In the John Pertwee era, in Terror of the Autons, we first saw the Master, played by Roger Delgado.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, as I inevitably am, but we saw quite a bit of the Master, didn't we, in those John Pertwee ones?
We did.
He was pretty much in all of one series, wasn't he?
He was in all of one series.
Yeah.
That series with Colony in Space and the Diamonds and Terror of the Autons. Okay.
Yeah.
And Claws of Axos and Mind of Evil.
So, as you mentioned just a minute ago, the first Master was Roger Delgado.
Yes.
Roger Delgado. What? Tragically, he died, didn't he? Quite young.
In a car crash.
Yeah.
I think on the way to play one of the characters. I can't exactly remember what.
Yeah.
He was going to be in something about a church or something.
But he was. It was largely, if I'm right, because of his death that made John Pertwee think about quitting, wasn't it?
Yes, because firstly he quit it because of the death of Roger Delgado, and also he left because he always he missed Katie Manning.
Oh right, okay.
So, but Roger Delgado was meant to appear for the final time, I think, in the final John Pertwee story.
Oh right.
But then he died, so we got Planet of the Spiders instead. Which Planet of the Spiders is a great story.
Yeah.
But...
So after Delgado, when did we next see the Master return?
In The Deadly Assassin, we saw the Master return, played by Geoffrey Beevers.
Yeah. Was that his only time?
It was, yeah.
This is the Master with the mangly face, isn't it? Yeah.
I think it was... No, wait, I think it was Peter Pratt, actually, who played him in Deadly Assassin.
Is it?
And then Geoffrey Beevers played him in Keeper of Traken.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. See, the other one that I really remember is Ainsley. Ainley.
Yeah, because Ainley played the Master for most of Classic Who. For all of the 80s.
I was going to say, he's the one I remember from growing up, really.
From the end of Keeper of Traken to Survival, the final Classic Who story.
Oh, yeah, I forgot he was in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then when we obviously then had that sort of period of no Who until the movie,
which had the Master return in the form of Eric Roberts. What did you think of the Eric Roberts Master? I don't think he looks too mastery. I don't think.
No, he didn't feel very mastery. But like we said, I guess the whole fact that he's having a regeneration, the personality changes significantly, doesn't it? So I guess it's quite foreseeable that he would have come back like that. But he didn't feel like the Master to me.
No.
In the same way, I guess that, and as you know, I always say this, David Tennant doesn't feel like the Doctor to me.
Okay.
Even though I like him at times, and I like him as an actor. But...
Next up, the Master returned in Utopia, played by Derek Jacobi.
Yeah.
Who in human form, and then regenerated at the end of that story into John Sim, who played the Master for 2 stories.
And he's a good Master, isn't he?
He is. Quite mad.
Yeah. Yeah. And then things get even more mad, really, don't they? Because after his demise, the Master then regenerates again.
Into a woman, Michelle Gomez.
Yeah.
Who's been nominated for a BAFTA, as we said earlier.
Yeah. And she's put a completely different take on it, hasn't she, really?
Yeah.
But I mean, she's still completely bonkers.
Yeah.
She's sort of like a psycho, evil Mary Poppins, isn't she, really?
Yeah.
But Okay, so let's think around some of these questions that we've asked for some of the other villains. We said, I think, both with the Daleks and the Cybermen, that they didn't feel as threatening anymore as they had done historically, other than perhaps in their most recent sort of appearances. Would you say the same for the Master?
I wouldn't actually.
Yeah.
I think he feels fresh every time he regenerates.
Yeah.
He has a different take every time. She has a different take every regeneration. So, no, I don't. I think he's different than the Daleks and the Cybermen. I don't think he does get boring.
Okay.
But even though the Eric Roberts Master doesn't feel as threatening.
Yeah. Who's your favourite Master or Mistress?
Should I order them in a minute, or should
go
I
for the top 3?
Okay. Should I start in reverse order?
Yep, reverse order.
Okay, 3. Anthony Ainley, because he feels really quite mastery.
I'd say the same.
And he looks quite mastery as well.
Be my 3rd.
2nd, Michelle Gomez.
Yep, I agree.
Missy. Great and mad.
Yeah.
And like the Master should be. And the first ever Master, Roger Delgado.
Yeah. I would agree entirely on your take of that. So, yeah.
The others are all good Masters apart from Eric Roberts, probably. But Eric Roberts was still all right as an actor, but he didn't really feel mastery.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's think about something else then. So the Master, or Missy, has appeared in quite a number of episodes, as we've just spelled out, really, by going through the amount of regenerations that she's had. What to you are the standout episodes? If you were going to recommend to people episodes featuring the Master,
how many?
Which ones? Let's go for 3 to start for starters.
Okay, so would this be main appearances?
I'll tell you what, go for 2 classic, 2 new.
Okay, so you have to watch Terror of the Autons. A major story and quite a good one as well, and it introduces the Master, so it's good. And also Deadly Assassin, it's a classic.
Yeah.
So I would say those
you
two.
Go for those 2, okay. Some of your favourites of the Master ones, aren't they? I mean, you mentioned the diamonds.
Yes, I love the diamonds.
Of yours, isn't it? And I love Colony in Space, obviously.
But have you seen how many? Do you want to say your 2 favourites?
It involves me trying to remember them all. I think probably for me, what's the Auton one again? The first one, Terror of the Autons, and maybe I'm going to go for I was going to say Legopolis, but I think I'll go for Colony in Space.
Yeah,
although probably the Master's probably stronger in Legopolis.
Yeah. Even though Roger Delgado's in.
Yeah.
But New Who. So I would say Dark Water, Death in Heaven. Would I have to go for the other Missy one, or would I go for?
I think I would go for the other Missy one.
I would go for the other Missy one, I think.
The Magician's Apprentice.
Yes, Magician's Apprentice, which is familiar. I think I'd have to go with the 2 Missy ones.
Yeah. Where do you think we're going to go with Missy, or potentially the Master again at some point? Do you think we're going to see further appearances? Do you think that's it?
I didn't think it would be it like that.
Yeah.
I mean, to start with, what about Missy's daughter?
Yeah, actually, it's interesting, isn't it? When you talk about sort of things that have been unresolved, that's probably a biggie from the last series.
That needs to be resolved in the final, in the Steve Moffat's final series.
You'd imagine he probably will wrap a lot of things up in the same way as he did with Time of the Doctor.
Yeah, I think he'll wrap up Missy's story. I think he'll let Chibnall do a new incarnation if he wants to give the Master a return.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things Moffat's quite good at, isn't it? He throws all these little sort of bits that get your interest up and doesn't really answer them for some time.
He usually answers them like 2 series afterwards.
So we'll look forward for finding out who this is. It might be he just leaves it completely just down to your imagination. But I mean, we had a feeling that Maisie Williams' character was going to be the daughter, didn't we? But obviously that wasn't the case. Okay. Have you got anything else to say about the Master? Thinking.
I don't think so. What do we have any other things that we usually chat about? I'm trying to think if we have anything we haven't really covered.
We've talked about favourite versions, we've talked about best episodes, we've talked about the future. I think we probably have covered it. I'll tell you what I will ask you.
Okay.
To what extent... It's a very, very weird relationship between the Doctor and the Master, isn't it? We're never sure, really, right from the start, from these early Delgado episodes, there's obviously a friendship there. Where do you think they'll go with that? Do you think that would just... Because there is obviously a friendship and bordering on love, isn't there, between the two of them?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
They love to hate each other.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Do you think that's been... It was definitely there in some of these Delgado ones. I'm trying to think of the one we watched a little while ago, which... Sea Devils, where that was the case. You could sort of sense that.
Yeah. There's a lot of references to when they were kids.
Yeah. And you certainly have had it a lot with Michelle Gomez.
Yeah.
I didn't sense that same friendship perhaps from Amy's period so much.
No, I didn't.
He was more of a sort of standard villain there.
Yeah, I feel the New Who ones have kind of touched on it a bit more.
Yeah.
Not necessarily later classically, but as you say, the Delgado ones and the New Who ones are pivotal for that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they did at times, didn't I? I guess perhaps I'm wrong on that. I mean, if I'm thinking about Legopolis, there's a lot around the friendship as well, isn't there? So maybe I'm talking rubbish.
But he is more of an enemy.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
But there are some references of their friendship.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, if that wraps up that particular item, what's the future of this item?
What do you mean?
What's happening with this item moving forward?
What, the monster analogies?
Yeah.
Or just the feature overall?
The monster analogies.
Well, we're going to take a quick break from it next week.
Yeah.
But we will return to it probably, unless we have another idea for something really pivotal. Then we will have the return of it with like a look at the Sontarans. I think we're doing next time, which should be interesting because we can talk a bit about Strax and stuff.
Yeah.
And what they've done in New Who, and we can talk about them.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I'll let you know details of different monsters that we're going to do.
Okay.
Because if you guys have any suggestions for any of the main villains, I mean, don't say do a whole feature on the Merca because we couldn't do that. But like anything, like if you want an Auton one or a Silurian one or something like that, then let us know.
Okay, so moving on to the next section of the show. As I'm sure the listeners appreciate, we have our great randomizer, which randomly selects episodes for us to watch.
We'll be pressing that after our review.
We will do indeed. Last week, it randomised for us Girl in the Fireplace.
Yes, it did.
So we were going to have a little bit of a chat around that and give our general thoughts on it.
Okay.
So I usually give like a brief introduction of it. It's a story written by Stephen Moffat, starring the 10th Doctor David Tennant and Rose Tyler as his assistant.
Featuring Mickey, not Clark.
It does. I mean, it's quite interesting. It starts off this episode with the TARDIS appearing on this what looks like a sort of derelict spaceship, and Doctor and Rose have taken Mickey out and about for the first time ever, haven't they? I don't think it's the first time he's been into space.
Yeah, it is.
And actually, some of my favourite moments, certainly some of the comedy moments in it, are Thicky Mickey.
Yeah.
Sort of like taking in this great experience for the first time. Like when he looks out the window and says, "Oh, it looks so real." It's real. So they found this derelict spaceship, and then as they're searching around trying to find any signs of life, they find this old 18th century French fireplace, and when looking through it, there's a little girl looking back at them, a French girl called Renette, and basically it seems to be this sort of time portal going back to Paris in 1727. And when the Doctor goes through, he can hear basically the clock in the room is broken.
Yes.
But there's still a ticking. And when he's searching around, he finds this clockwork robot, which are basically the main villains throughout this piece. And I'll come.
The only villains, I think.
Yeah. And basically the robots are waiting, aren't they? They're waiting for a period once she grows up, when they would see her as being ready, and they're basically sort of like constantly coming back into her life. And luckily, the Doctor's also coming in to rescue her from each of these occasions. And there's a lot of sort of flirting going on between the Doctor.
And I know you don't like flirting.
I don't generally. It actually works in this one. Actually, it works far better in this one. But then he sort of realizes that she's in fact Madame de Pompadour, the mistress of King Louis the Ninth. No, what would it be? It'd be 14th.
Wait, 14th, yeah. 14th.
Yeah. So I mean, that's probably. Is that probably enough of a sort of story roundup without spoiling too much?
I think so. This is a very popular one among fans, so most of the listeners will probably have watched this episode. Yeah. It's Stephen Moffat's second story. Yeah.
In the second series of New Who. Not particularly in the scheme of series, probably the weakest of the series.
It is
of the New Who series. Yeah.
It
has Fear in her, for instance.
Series 2 is quite a weak series, but I think this is maybe the best one from this series. I
would think so. There's some really great moments. In fact, it's a really good episode. I have got a few grumbles with it, as you'd expect, because it's a 10th Doctor one.
I think it is one of the better 10th Doctor ones.
Yes, it is. It's a really good story.
It is a really good one, and we've both got it really high in our charts.
Yeah.
It doesn't make the top 10, but it's somewhere around 14 or something. 13 or 14. I think
so. So I mean, in terms of sort of standouts, you can tell that it's a Stephen Moffat story.
Yeah.
From the context of it, and he's always had, isn't he? In all of his stories, he has this whole thing, like with Blink, the whole thing about people being paranoid about not being able to blink. In Listen, you had that whole thing about things hiding under your bed, etc. The Silence, you've had that sort of thing where you can't see these creatures, and this is a real similar sort of concept, really, insofar as Renette's clock in her room keeps smashing, and when it smashes, the reason it smashes is that the robots smash it deliberately because they're clockwork robots, and you can hear the ticking, and it's like a way of actually not being found. And I love that idea. I thought that was a really, really clever concept.
I think overall it is a great episode, and I think it's one of the best David Tennant ones. Is it one of the better Stephen Moffat ones, or
maybe?
Maybe. It's not as good as like Blink and the Empty Child.
No,
it's not that good, but
no. I tell you, there are a couple of grumbles. Should I go through my grumbles?
Yes. Okay.
Actually, I think all my grumbles are really captured in one scene.
Is it the foppish scene when he's like the thickety?
Yeah, I hate that scene. I really hate that scene. When
you were smiling whilst watching it.
There's
watched you.
There's bits that do make me, maybe because I found it so foppish as well. But the It's the scene where Rose and Mickey have been captured by the robots, the clockwork robots, and pretending to be drunk, Doctor comes in, and it is incredibly foppish, that bit actually. There's other foppish bits as well, but I like them. There's the great scene where spoilers.
Yeah.
There's the great scene
Just
when
turn off for it. Just forward about. How long would you talk?
About 25 seconds.
About 25 seconds.
There's a great scene where the Doctor comes smashing through the mirror on a horse, and there's a sort of shocked look from Lynette, and the Doctor does this really comical sort of wink back, and it's totally cheesy and foppish, but I actually do really like that bit. I think that's very, very funny.
That was 25 seconds.
Yeah. So you counted that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in case you spoil anything.
What did you make of Lynette?
I thought she was quite good actually.
Yeah,
the
I
actress played her really well.
I'm not sure who she is. Can you remember the name?
Sophia Miles, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sophia Miles.
Yeah. So she was really good in it, wasn't she?
She was.
And there's one you mentioned it earlier on. There's that little bit of flirtation between the two characters, and generally, I'm not a big lover of that in New Who at all. But in this particular occasion, it works fairly well. And there's actually a very, again, spoilers, move on about 25 seconds around now. There is also that great scene at the end, the quite sad scene at the end, when he comes back for her and she's just died. And it's quite powerful, that, isn't it? And it takes that sort of, that usual sort of foppish 10th Doctor to quite an emotional state, and I really like that.
Like in the later Dave Tennant.
Yeah.
25 seconds.
Yeah. So a really good story, I think. What do you make of the villains?
I think the clockwork droids are very creepy.
Yeah, they are.
And very good.
And they obviously, I had seen this one before a number of years back.
Well, it wasn't too long ago, I don't think.
Good year or so.
Yeah, but it wasn't like too long
Maybe
ago.
No.
It wasn't like years ago.
Not years ago. But I've forgotten about how closely aligned these robots were to the ones in the first Capaldi
you've probably seen this more recently than me.
Yeah. So what's the first Capaldi episode called again?
Deep Breath.
Deep Breath. So the clockwork robots in Deep Breath are presumably the same ones, aren't they?
I think they say the Madame de Pompadour.
Yeah.
They mention it.
Yeah. But the whole sort of concept of these robots is that they can't get the parts that they need, and therefore they start using the bodies or the insides of the things like the heart of the human crew in order to stay alive and therefore keep the ship going.
And that's what they do in Deep Breath.
That's it. And they've got the skin on and everything like that, haven't they? So it's taken that stage further. So that's a really great concept, I think. I think they're smashing villains. They look really creepy. I love the get up that they're wearing.
Yeah,
that
I know.
sort of Parisian outfit.
It's really good. Yeah.
Do you have any grumbles about this episode?
I think that scene you mentioned is foppish. I think it's quite entertaining though.
Mm-hmm.
But not really. No.
I
mean, in the chart, it's 14th for both of us.
Yeah. So this isn't our overall chart. Since we started the randomizer,
there's 48 stories.
58.
58
stories we watched, and it's 14th out of those 58. So it's pretty high up, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's good. Definitely recommend that one.
Yeah.
I would. And in fact, I would put it up there as being one of the best 10th Doctor episodes. Yeah. Certainly the best in his first series.
Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant. Okay. So.
A level lower than like Blink, though.
Yeah.
Or
definitely.
One or two levels lower than Blink.
Definitely lower than Blink, but Not the best 10th Doctor episode, but one of.
No, one of, yeah.
Yeah.
I know, yeah.
So, does that take us onto the randomizer again?
It does.
It does, doesn't it? We've got to enable the magic bits, the macros that run it. You too can have your own randomizer if you so wish. You just have to ask us.
Yeah.
And we would let you have one.
We would.
So very briefly, randomizer spreadsheet.
We missed it.
The spreadsheet with every episode of Doctor Who ever in it. We press the little macro button on it, and it randomly sucks one out of that database, which we watch and then review for you the following week. What have we got this week on the randomizer?
Okay, yeah. This may take us a little while to watch, though. This will be a 2-week one, I think.
Okay. So that must mean it's a Classic Who one.
I think it will take us 2 weeks because it's 7 parts.
So what is it? What?
Clues. Should we give clues?
Yeah, give a few clues.
So it's a third Doctor episode.
Okay.
It's from his first series. It's got Liz in. And as we said, it's a 7-parter, so we're excluding Spearhead from Space here. So it's probably the least well-known from that series.
I've no idea what it is.
It's Ambassadors of Death.
Yeah, but I mean, I've no idea what that is.
Did you know that it was a John Pertwee one
No.
when it came up?
No, I recognise the name, but I had a feeling that was a Tom Baker one. So what is it? What's the villains in this?
It's a very interesting one, and what I'll do is I'll keep you mystified.
In the dark.
But we'll be reviewing the first 3 or 4 parts of Ambassadors of Death. I was thinking you hadn't watched the Liz one, but you have, haven't you? You've watched Inferno,
which is actually right at the top of our list. It's second, I think, on our second on our things that we've watched so far.
You've gone
past it. In terms of the episodes that we've watched so far,
it's second. Yeah. This one's the worst one out of the first John Pertwee series.
Okay.
It's still all right.
Yeah.
I think there's the last part. I think it is in black and white. I think.
Oh right, yeah, I remember there being one like that. Yeah.
1 or 2 of the episodes are black and white.
Okay.
Might be an annoying one where it keeps switching between black and white and colour.
Yeah.
But I might be getting confused. But
yeah.
It's an all right one. But we'll be reviewing the first few parts, the first 3 or 4 parts next week.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward for that because I mean, let's face it, we'll be working our way through everything, really, won't we? So gradually, all the ones that we've got available to us, which is a ever expanding list, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So, we are hoping to one day have all the episodes available on our.
Yeah, you've probably got more than you haven't.
Yeah.
In fact, there's not that many you haven't got, really, is there?
No, definitely of Classic Who.
Yeah. Certainly, there's a handful of. You've only got a few Sylvester McCoy ones, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got 2 or 3.
Yeah,
3, I think.
Yeah.
But I have watched more than that. It's just on DVD. I only have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we are. That's the Magic Randomizer, and that brings us on to the final section of our show. And I don't know whether everybody knows that we tend to swap around a little bit. We have 1 week we have a Who to Face. Every other week we have this section which is called
Quiz or Question.
Quiz or Question.
Okay.
So what is Quiz or Question?
So, we look at some of the we are asked quizzes which have a right or wrong answer, and questions which could lead to a discussion. So sorry for spitting on you if I did that. But this is it's interesting sometimes because even though we can run out of ideas for questions, sometimes they may be a bit weird for the questions.
Yeah, but we like it, don't we?
It's quite a good article, and we have to answer these questions. So We'll just find it. It's a little bit up. Okay, there.
Whereabouts
So
are we?
here.
Okay.
Okay, so
So that's what the section is. Let's quick. Right, can't speak properly. Let's kick off, shall we, with the first one?
why do you
if we
keep doing that?
Because I'm incapable of using things. Right, here we go. So, Magic Machine, what is the first question?
Who are your top 3 choices for the new companion?
So, quiz or question?
It's an opinion, so therefore it is a question.
Question.
Ooh, do you want to kick off with that one?
I'm not very good at these sort of questions.
No, I mean I don't really know many in terms of actors and actresses. I'll tell you what I would like to see.
Who?
And I sort of sometimes my views change on this. But I said to you, I mentioned it to you earlier on. I could sort of see in a way that Osgood may become the companion.
I think there are a few standout performances. There are some standout people from the recent series, like Osgood, that we could see. I mean, just out of subject, Ingrid Oliver would be a good one for Comic Cons. She's not been any.
No, so she would be good, wouldn't she? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing, when we take it back to the fact that there was that quote in Capaldi that said that he'd worked with the new companion before, I guess what we don't know is in what context, whether it was within Who or whether it was outside of that. Because, I mean, there was that woman that was the other unit woman that he'd worked with before in Thick of It.
Oh, yeah. Colonel Walsh.
Yeah.
Rebecca Front.
Yeah. But I mean, the other sort of thing, I mean, if it was somebody that's been in Who, it could be, for instance, that woman from Time Heist.
It could be,
What's her name again? Can you remember the character?
Saber.
Yeah. Could be someone like that.
Yeah. Or Journey Blue.
Yeah.
Or sadly Shauna.
I like the idea of it being Shauna.
I don't like Shauna.
Yeah, I'd like
Shauna.
that. So I'm going to go for, in fact, some of the ones you just mentioned. Journey Blue, Shauna.
No.
Or Osgood.
Wouldn't it be interesting to have Missy as the companion?
Well, there is that. You could try that, actually. I mean, that would be a little bit different. It'd be a little bit like a sort of even more psycho version of what they tried to do with Turlo, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Somebody there where you're never really sure whether she's trying to stab him in the back and dispose of him or not.
Yeah.
Anything further on that question?
No, I don't think so. Let's move on. Sorry, it was 3, wasn't it? We did do 3.
Yeah, we did. Okay, so what have we got next?
Quite an easy one now.
Yeah.
Who played River Song in Who?
Okay.
So
that's a quiz because there is a right or wrong.
Quite an easy one there. And it was Alex Kingston.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
And even I would have known that.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a thickie. So, what's the third quiz or question?
What is your favourite Chibnall episode?
Quiz or question?
It's a question because there's no right or wrong answer. Can you remind me what the Chibnall episodes are?
So there's 42.
42 episodes?
No. There's 42 the episodes.
No, I don't remember. That's been silly.
The Silurian two-parter, Under the Earth, Cold Blood, Dinosaurs on the Spaceship, and Para 3.
Okay.
I have quite a fond... I like the Silurian two-parter.
Yes, me too.
But,
yeah.
I am going to have to say 42.
Okay.
In this one.
Can
you remember that one?
Is that the one where they're on the spaceship?
The sun.
Yeah, I do remember that one.
That's quite a good one.
It was good.
I think that's my favourite.
Maybe still go for the... I don't really remember it very well. I have seen it, but I'm not overly keen on Dinosaurs on a Spaceship.
I don't really like
it's all
Dinosaurs on a Spaceship.
I actually did though really like Power 3.
I did.
I know.
Too.
I know it's not necessarily.
It's not a very popular one, but I really enjoyed Power 3.
Yeah,
it's quite an entertaining one.
Yeah, but I think I will go for the Silurian two-parter.
I like the Silurian two-parter, but I'm going to have to say 42.
Okay, so next up.
What monster appeared in Battlefield?
Quiz or question?
It must be presumably a right or wrong answer to this one.
So
therefore it's a
question.
quiz.
Quiz.
Yes.
Quiz. So it was the Destroyer. So
So what is the Destroyer?
Yeah.
Is there much you can really say about that or not?
Not necessarily.
I mean, I'm sorry, I've not actually seen this episode. I don't think. I know
you haven't, because it's the Brigadier's Return with Angela Bruce and.
I don't think I saw it when it originally came out or anything like that. But it's
Him.
Oh, I remember that blue fella. Yeah, that looks a bit like a demon. He looks very plasticky. What's he like? Any good or not?
He's interesting.
Yeah.
Not necessarily one of the most main monsters, one of the most iconic, but he's quite cool. He looks quite cool, but I don't believe he is a stand-up. He's very like a typical villain.
Yeah.
Like the Master in the 80s.
Okay. So, next up, give us another one. Quiz or question master, or mistress, I should say. It's a bit like it's Missy, isn't it? It's a mistress.
What is your favourite historical adventure?
Quiz or question.
That's got to be a question because there's no right or wrong answer.
As you know, we watched Girl in the Fireplace earlier on, and that is a great historical. But I am going to have to say, through the whole of history, that Vincent and the Doctor is the best.
Okay. I think you're right. My machine's just gone very, very funny. So it's jammed up on it. My favourite one. Let me think. I think you might. Are you right? Talons of Wang Chiang's a particularly good one.
No, don't. Talons of Wang Chiang.
Yeah. That is a particularly good one. There are. I know you're not generally that keen on them, are you? The historical ones.
No, I'm not necessarily.
Not as much so.
But definitely the William Hartnell ones. I really liked the Aztecs that I watched recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really enjoyable one, and I didn't think it was going to be as good as people said it was, but it was really good.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to have to say. I'm going to have to say Talons of Wang Chiang, actually. That beats Vincent, but Vincent and the Doctor is my favourite New Who one.
Yeah,
but...
and certainly if you take things like The Day of the Doctor, which is a great masterpiece, the 50th anniversary masterpiece, the historical element of that is definitely the weakest part, isn't it?
By the way, your mouse thing, that side's gone.
Yeah, I think the mouse is broken, isn't it? The mouse is broken.
So next one.
Next one, if it works, which it doesn't. Okay.
Who wrote Genesis of the Daleks?
So that's a quiz, and it's Terry Nation, the first writer, the writer who created the Daleks.
Okay. Did he do a lot of the early Dalek ones or not? Did he write?
He did write quite a lot of them.
Yeah.
There are a few he didn't, but he did write quite a lot of them.
Yeah. Okay. And then finally, the final one.
Yeah.
Peter Capaldi recently said about how he would fit Doctor Who,
Fix.
but how would he fit it?
How would he fit it? How would he fix it?
Fix it, sorry.
How would he fix it?
I must have done a typo there.
So, I guess that must be a quiz because there must be a right or wrong answer to that. I'm not sure what that right or wrong answer is, but I'm thinking, he did start talking about possibly wanting to put it on at an earlier time, things like that.
Yeah, he did, but what would you do to fix
how would
Doctor
I?
Who?
Oh, sorry.
That's the question.
Yeah, how would I fix it? I would probably semi-reluctantly, make it less dark.
Yeah, I mean, we've said a number of times that we love the darker stories that Moffat's given us, but we think that Chibnall needs to give us a bit of lighter series, just to let younger viewers be interested. Yeah, and give more viewing figures, because the viewing figures were quite low for Series 9.
Yeah, no, indeed. Yeah, they were. Okay.
Okay.
That's this week's quiz or question. In fact,
that's this week's show.
That's this week's show.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, everybody, for listening. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We certainly have.
Next week, we are doing episode 154.
Wowza.
And we are looking at tips for the new companion. Hopefully, maybe they'll be announced by next week. I don't know, but we're going to look at what needs to be in a successful companion. Good
section. We'll also be giving our thoughts on the first few parts of Ambassadors of Death.
Yes. We'll be looking at the news.
We'll be doing one of our mighty yet scary Who to Face adventures.
And nothing else. No randomizer
next week. No randomizer, no.
Got a 7-parter.
Sad moment. I hope you've enjoyed the show.
Yes. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.
And we'll see you next Saturday.
Okay.
Thank you for listening. Goodbye. Okay.
Goodbye.
Fail.